Hello, welcome to HJR Garage. I'm Henry and I've been restoring this MGB now for quite a few months. In the last episode we painted the whole car. Really good achievement. However, in this episode I messed things up a little bit and it resulted in getting the spray gun back out. But we managed to fix it in the end, so join me for that whole process now. Hello, welcome to HJR Garage. So in the last episode, I painted this MG and it looks really good. I'm really happy with it, but it's not perfect. There are a few imperfections. And in this episode, we're going to try and sort those imperfections out. So paint runs, flecks of dirt in the paint, etc. So I'm going to deal with the paint runs first, which I've got a method that I've researched to do that. And then we're going to machine polish the whole car, or cut it, then polish it. And we should then have a really nice paint job for this MGB. So hopefully you'll join me to do that now. So as you can see on these coach lines, I've just got that small drip there. As soon as you come away a bit, it's hard to see, but you can, it's there. So I'm going to try and get rid of it. The rest is pretty good. There's some more drips on the other side. A few bits of dirt and stuff like that in it. Not all of which I'm going to be able to get out. So it's not perfect, but I did it in a garage, so what do you expect, eh? So I'm going to try and get rid of some of these runs, though, with a method that I just saw. So the idea is, you get a new razor edge, which this is. It's just been in a bit of a rusty place. You take the edges down on it, which I've not done yet, but I will, and you scrape away the drip until you start to scrape away a little bit of the paint that's underneath as well, and then you polish it up with 600 grit, then 1000, 1500 and 2000 to get it all back to how it should be. Now this is on a line, so I've got to be really careful not to press too hard on that bit because that's where the paint's thinnest. So I've got to just try and take the edges of it here. You know, I can just make it better. That'll do for me. So I'm going to crack on with that now. Looks terrible, doesn't it? But hopefully that will sand back okay. I've not taken all of it all the way back because I was just a bit worried, to be honest. And it will come off with the sandpaper as well, so we'll try that now. So this is just normal water. Just going to give it a little wipe first. I got scared and I've used 800 to start off with rather than the 600. So we'll see how it goes. You can see it's nearly all gone already. Doesn't take much when you do it that way. That's disappointing. There's obviously a very low bit of paint there. So I need to avoid that bit. It's just coming up lighter. Part of me think that needs respraying now, which is not good. Right, 2000 grit time. Well, that's a lesson for the rest of the car, isn't it? So the drip's gone. Now I've got that. That's exactly what I didn't want to happen. So if you're watching this to learn how to do it, don't sand too much. So now I've got to decide what to do with this quarter. Whether I scuff it all the way down and do another coat on it. I'll have a think about that. God, I'm really annoyed with myself about that. But I suppose these things happen, and I guess it'll show you guys how to fix it as well, because I'm pretty sure I'm not the first and I won't be the last person to sand through the top coat. So yeah, disappointing, but it is what it is, I'm afraid. Hello, it's a new day. Didn't say bye last night. I just needed to get out of the garage. I was so disappointed about that error that I've made, but it is what it is. I'm going to ignore it and carry on with what I'm going to do for the rest of the car. So carry on wet sanding and then machine polish everything up and stuff. So I'm going to set you guys up in the corner of the garage on a time lapse so you can just see me wet sand this whole car. And I'll catch up with you before the machine polishing process to walk you through that. Wow, well that was a full day of wet and dry. I've got probably half the car done. It's looking good though. Obviously it's all matte because that's the idea. I've not buffed it yet. But I've managed to get rid of most of the drips, as you've probably seen as I've been filming. Some are still tiny, but most of them are gone now. I'm in work now for the next nearly week, so I'm going to carry on with this then. Still be in this episode, but I'll carry on with it then. And we'll see if we can get all the car wet and dried and buffed to a shine in this episode. And then we can start the fun stuff. I'll give you a sneak peek now of what got delivered today. And obviously all those frontline parts as well. So yeah, I'll see you in a few seconds time to carry on with all this wet and dry. Good morning. I'm back in the garage for a few hours this afternoon, just before my night shift. So I'm just going to get straight into wet and dry this, well, the rest of this MG. Right, like most of the things on this car, I've never machine polished before. So this is the old wing, the very rusty bits that cut out and stuff, but this bit seems alright. So I'm going to practice my machine polishing on there. I've wet and dried the whole car now. It's looking really smooth. I've got rid of any orange peel, got rid of any bits of debris that I could. So I think once it's machine polished, it's going to look really good. But I need to practice so that I don't cut through the paint, because as I mentioned before, it's thin in some areas and I don't want to ruin it. So I'm going to practice on this, maybe see if I can get some of these little scratches out, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So this is G3 regular grain paste compound. There's a scratch here that I'll try and get out. Yeah, that's nearly out. Well, I'm quite happy with that because I thought it would burn through and it'd be really hard to control. You're not meant to use a DA, you're meant to use a machine polisher, a proper one. But obviously that's what I've got. I think let's try and do the bonnet today and see how it comes up. Oh, this machine polishing process takes a lot longer than I thought it would. I thought it'd just be a couple of passes and then it would come out nice and glossy. And it's getting there, it's just, yeah, not quite as easy as I thought it would be. So it's going to take a lot longer than I thought it would be, as per usual, I suppose. So I've run out of time today. I need to go and get some sleep before my night shift. So I'll see you a couple of days' time to carry on with this. Hopefully we can start making a little bit more progress than what we're currently doing. So yeah, see you then. Well then, I finished my night shifts, a bit tired, but I'm back in the garage. So now it's time just to carry on with this machine polishing. So I'll get you guys on a time lapse and you can see me do it. God, this is taking such a long time. Definitely my least favourite bit about this whole project, this paint and polishing and stuff. But we're getting there. It's going to need another pass on everything at the end because there's still like microfine little scratches and stuff, but it's coming up nice and glossy now. It's dark outside, so I'll come back in the morning and carry on. Hopefully tomorrow, the full day on it, we can get some good progress down. I think I'll just end up doing exactly the same as today, just putting some earphones in and just cracking on all day, just seeing what I can get done. Definitely would be easier with a proper machine polisher with a handle on the top and stuff. That's one of my biggest things I've found. DAs are not designed for it really. So I might see if I can invest in one of those, we'll see. But yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Good morning, I'm back in the garage. I was thinking about what to do with this paintwork because this polishing is taking too long and it's still leaving these little fine scratches that I'm not happy with in the paintwork with what I'm using at the moment. So although I've spent a good day and a half on this polishing, so far I think I need to quit while I'm ahead and start a different tactic to try and make it a bit easier for myself. I finished off the car in 2000 grit and I thought that would be enough to then polish up, which I think it would be because it is polishing up, it's just taking forever. I'm wondering whether it's going to be easier and quicker for me to wet and dry again the whole car in 3000 grit before... Sorry, the compressor started. Before I continue with the polishing. I'm going to have a think about it whilst I get ready for the day. Right, this feels like a major step back, but I'm going to start doing some 3000 grit wet and dry, I think, just to speed up the process in the long run. Feels like it's going to slow it down because it's going to take me the best part of the day to do this. But yeah, better start now before I get too far into it and then end up with a paint job I'm not too happy with because it's still got little fine scratches in it and stuff. Hopefully the 3000 grit will just take all those little fine scratches out before I cut and polish. So yeah, I'm going to get on with that now. Right, I've matted the car back down again with 3000 grit. So I'm going to start the polishing process all over again. It's slightly soul destroying, but it is what it is. Hopefully that's got rid of those fine little scratches that the polisher just didn't get up. So yeah, I'm going to just start working through that, I think. So wish me luck. Right, whatever I'm doing isn't working. There's still loads of scratches on the car, and I just can't get them out. Which is annoying. I don't know whether when I was sanding down with that 2000 grit, whether I had maybe some grit or something, actual grit, in between the sandpaper and the pad and the car, which has put these scratches in. I don't know. It looks glossy from here, but when you get up close, it's not. It's almost gone cloudy, and then there's some deeper scratches. And I am happy with how it's turning out. When you look back to how it looked when I first started, all the rust, etc., to compare it to what it looks like now, it's brilliant. I'm really, really proud of myself, considering I've done the odd bits and bobs, but I'm not ever taken on a project like this before. After saying I was going to finish the episode, I came back and did some more because I just couldn't let it sit that it wasn't perfect yet. Not that it's going to be perfect, but you know, that I was struggling with something. So I worked it out anyway, and I'll show you what I've done. Turns out I'd managed to get little bits of grit in between the sandpaper, the wet and dry paper, and the paint when I'd been wet and drying, which is an easy mistake to make. So I bought these pads for the DA, and they look like this. And essentially, you use a bit of a mist of water with it and do exactly the same as what you would do with a normal DA and wet and dry the whole car with it. And it just ends up with this. They're amazing. It just ends up with this really matte, nice finish to then buff up. And you know what? It's worth a treat. I forgot to mention that I also bought this machine polisher. So after I sanded with the DA or wet and dried with the DA with the 2000 and the 3000 grit, I then machine polished again with that machine polisher. And it's come up really nicely. The only issue is there's some low spots now because I've obviously gone too far. So it's definitely going to need some either blends, some fresh paint anyway. But in general, at least I've learned how to do it properly now. Now, you can see there, it's not very noticeable, but that's literally a micron of paint. So at some point, this will get repainted again. But it's a really good way for me to learn how to cut and polish and stuff. There are too many imperfections for me to be happy with it. It's a pain, but it's a massive learning curve, and I'm going to treat it as a dry run, if you like. So I've had a go at painting. I've had a go at cutting and polishing. The cutting and polishing and flatting down did not go to plan, to the point where I ruined my nice paint job. It went too thin in loads of areas. You can see some of the primer through it in several different places, and I'm not happy with it. So because of that, I've decided to repaint the car again. Sometimes it's better to quit while you're ahead and admit your mistakes and yeah, redo something. So it was a hard decision because it's a lot of work to paint a car, but I'm going to do it in this episode. So bear with us. I'm not going to explain it as much as I did the first episode. If you want to know how to paint a car, go back to that one. I am literally just going to get on with painting it. Should be all good. So I'm just going to get cracking with it. Wish me luck. Right, My dad's come round and talked some sense into me about not repainting the whole car. He said, why don't you just try and blow in some of the other bits first? So that's what we're going to try and do. So I don't have to get the car or the whole garage fully prepped and stuff as well. So he's just rubbing down some of the bits that are low with a bit of 800 grit, wet and dry paper, try and keep the dust down a little bit rather than doing it dry. And we're going to try and blow in the bonnet and the coach lines and see how we go. So we've just sanded back some of the front bit where the paint was thin, and we're going to try and blow it in. Right, I'm going to give you a little update of where we're getting up to. So Dad's gone home now. Had a bit of an issue with this rear quarter. As I put the primer on, it reacted with the paint somehow, and it made the paint soft. Which is really frustrating, and I don't understand why, but that's what's happened anyway. So again, it is what it is. So I've now sanded this back all the way, but now I'm left with bare metal. So on this bit, I'm going to need to prime. I've decided to paint the whole rear quarter on this side. The whole rear quarter on this side. I'm going to leave the roof, even though it's got that light bit, because I feel like I can do that another time, because that's probably one of the only areas of the car that the car can actually be finished, and I can just drape plastic over the whole thing and just paint the roof in one go. I am going to do this bit here. I'm going to go up to, I'm going to try, I've never done it before, I'm going to try and blend this one in though. Not quite go up to these edges that I've taped over here. Just blend that one in, I think. And I was going to try and blend the bonnet, and I might still do it, but on the other hand, it seems like a really flat area where a blend's not going to go very well. And I have got to repaint this bit here anyway. So I'm half thinking about taping up to this line here, covering all the wings, covering the doors, and painting the whole bonnet. Now, I don't think I'm going to have to set up the whole paint booth for that. I'll just dampen down the floors and try not to get any dust in that bit, rather than putting all the plastic on the walls and stuff again. So yeah, I think for now, I have got little imperfections on the corners of the doors, but they're tiny. So again, I think I'll leave that for now. Just going to focus on painting this quarter, that quarter, and the bonnet up to the bulkhead. So tape off underneath this windscreen again, and tape up to probably paint and try and just blend it here somewhere, where it's not going to be as noticeable. And it might just allow me to get rid of some of these little dinks and stuff that I've got in here as well. So that's the plan anyway. So I'm just going to start cracking on with it. It's going to be difficult, but yeah, it's really frustrating. I feel like I'm taking 5 steps back, to be honest. But I want this to be good, so it's worth it. So yeah, I'm just going to crack on with getting as much done as I can. Hopefully someone will be able to tell me what's gone on here. Sprayed the primer just on some of the bare metal areas. Most of it's fine, but in just these few places, it's gone all, it's like reacted. I don't know really why. So yeah, that's really weird, isn't it? The whole car was ready for paint pretty much. So I just thought I'd spray some primer on, let it dry overnight and crack on with paint tomorrow, and then it's done that. Very odd. So it looks like I'm going to have to wait for that to dry and try and fix it somehow. I'm not sure how. Must have been some contamination maybe underneath the paint, or I've not cleaned it completely right before I've painted it, or something. I've no idea. So yeah, weird. I'll show you the rest of the car. So I've prepped there, I've left a soft edge there and there, so I'm just going to try and spray and like fade out on this top bit. Sorry, the filming phone ran out of battery, so here's my other one. So the audio is not as good on this one, but I'll give it a go. So yeah, I'm going to spray this and try and fade out to the edges. Spray all this quarter. Now the primer here, in a lot smaller area, but it's done exactly the same thing. There and there. There you go, you can see it now. Strange. The hood's all prepped. Obviously I need to clean everything down again. Retape off some areas, but that primer there is the same primer, but it was fine. Weird, very weird. But yeah, paint the bonnet, the bulkhead, both rear quarters, and the top of this boot lid. Hopefully tomorrow, depending on what happens with this and on the other side. I'll see you in the morning to hopefully spray. Good morning. I have been trying to prep these areas around the rear quarters this morning. So every time I go to prime it, it does what it did before, it bubbles up. And see, this is what it looks like. Obviously different colours because there's paint, different types of primer, it's a mess, but hopefully the top coat will cover all of it. There's no bare metal though, that's the only bits that I've done this with. You can see now there's just a little bit of a ripple there, you can pick it up on the camera. So once that's dry, I'll try and sand that back, but that's the best I've had it so far. A little bit up here. I don't quite get why it's doing it, to be honest. There's a little bit on the edge there as well. Yeah, that's what I'm dealing with. I'm just trying to get them not to happen. It's very frustrating. I have been fighting with this contaminated paint for hours now. Keep on sanding it back, thinking I've got it all off, painting it, and then finding a few more ripples or a few more bits of where the paint's reacted, basically. But finally I've done it. I didn't show you lot because I just thought I just need to get it done. It's just an annoying bit that's not really worthwhile you guys seeing. It's just annoying. So yeah, you get contaminated paint, sand it all the way back. Basically, the paint that I put on, for whatever reason, I could get my nail and scrape it after I put the primer on it. So I've no idea why. But I found a combination that works. I've used an etch primer on the bare metal bits and not gone anywhere near the paint, and then used the filler primer and just misted it over, and then I've sanded it all back now with 600 grit. And I think we're ready to kind of semi-clean the area, de-dust, all that type of stuff. Maybe we'll spray today, I'm not sure. But yeah, I've got a lot of de-dusting and cleaning to do, essentially. So that's what the wing looks like now. That's what I had to do there. So that on the edge where I'd gone through to bare metal, a slightly lighter colour primer is the acid etch primer. The rest of it is a filler primer, and it's all really smooth and level. You can't feel anything with your finger there. That's all really smooth and level. This, again, smooth and level. I know it looks like there's a bit, but there's not. You can't feel anything, the difference there. So I need to clean it all, tack rag it all, de-dust the garage first, and then potentially try and paint it today. It would be really good if I could do it today and it's drying all over Christmas, etc. Otherwise, it's just going to lengthen the project process, and I'm already at the end of my tether with this whole paint situation. I just want it over now. I want to be able to fit my new parts, get on with the engine stuff, all the rest of it. The interior even, I want to get on with making that look really nice. This paint is just in my way at the moment, so I want to get it done. Let's start off by cleaning up all the mess that we've gathered by faffing about, and hopefully I'm going to remove all the mats this time, all the rubber mats. I'm going to brush up, de-dust the car after that, get my airline, hose everything off with the airline, and then mist the floor with water to keep that stickiness down. Because if you watch the last time I sprayed, I ended up sticking to the floor a lot. I'm going to make sure my pressure is slightly lower this time so I don't get all the overspray I did last time. Yeah, I just need to go for it. So I should probably stop sitting down and talking to you lot and actually just do it. Well, we have a reasonably clean garage, that's good. I de-dusted everywhere, mopped it out, took the floor up, because there was lots of dust underneath that would have come airborne. Yeah, tidied it up as much as this garage ever gets tidy. So now the plan is to wipe down the car with panel wipe, then tack it off, do that a few times. Then we can mix the paint, set the gun up, I'll get changed and everything, put my mask on, and we can spray these few panels. I'm hoping there's not going to be as much overspray as there was last time. I'm only doing a few panels and I'm going to turn the pressure down a little bit. Definitely had it too high last time. If you've not watched the last video, go and watch it, because I do a really in-depth how to paint your car. And the actual painting bit worked great. It was my sanding and wet and dry and polishing and stuff that went wrong. So the paint job was good. It was the bit after that I messed up, which is hence why I'm respraying bits now. I'm going to put the extract fan on with filters. I'm not going to put the trunking down the garage like I did last time. We'll just let it suck in air from the front. So yeah, let's just get going with kind of prepping the car now. And then we'll paint again. We are once again in spray booth mode. Well, semi-spray booth mode, no plastic up, but all my ducting and everything's there. When I say ducting, I mean the fan is placed right over there. So it'll just draw in from there, or draw out from there, hopefully draw in from there. And yeah, I should now be able to set up warm my paint gun. Then I'll wet the floor down and give the car one final clean, and we'll be good to go. You saw me mix the paint up last time, so I'm going to do that off camera. It's just using these cups. It's 2-to-1 with 10% thinners. So yeah, I'm going to give that a go. Get changed, put my mask on, and go for it. Yeah, wish me luck. Right, going to start off with that very light mist coat, and I'm going to attempt to do 2 full wet coats after that. So wish me luck, I'm going to go for it right now. you just saw then, it's looking really good. I managed to get it a lot smoother this time. A lot less orange peel than I did the first time, which is really good. There's dirt in it, probably slightly more than last time actually. That's probably because, or definitely because, I didn't have all the plastic up and things. So that's a lesson. In the future, definitely do that. But I managed to get rid of most of the dirt when I was doing the sanding phase. So, although I did end up going through, but never mind. This time I should be able to do the same and get rid of some of it. So yeah, it's looking really good. It's been about an hour since I sprayed it. It's still a little bit tacky because it's cold. Even though I've got the garage as hot as I could get it. It was about 15 degrees when I sprayed. So it needs a bit more time to go hard to touch before I take any of the masking off. So that will be my next job though. It's funny. Yeah, I've ended this video about 3 times at different points where I've just felt like giving up. I filmed 3 different outros at different points during this episode. So if the episode feels like it's a little bit of a mismatch, it's because it is. I was going to put this paint bit as a separate episode, but I thought, you know what, I've done it now, so I might as well share it with you guys before I go for my break over Christmas and January. So yeah. Well, what do you think then? I think it looks good again. I'm kind of wish I'd done the whole car now and got the whole paint booth set up again, but the rest of the car didn't need it, and it's just because it's matte, because it's been sanded down a little bit. So it looks really good, and we're back to the point now where we're mistake-free and we can just crack on in the new year with getting all the runs out and all that type of stuff again. But I'm going to sign off. It's been a very, very long, 5 months working on this car, and I need a little bit of a break. So I'm going to come back to you in the first week in February to continue on with this project. I just want to thank you all so much for supporting the channel. It's actually blown me away, really. Considering we're on over 2,500 subscribers now, 5 months in, I think it's really good. And so thank you very much. None of it would be possible without you lot helping us or getting me through some of those points where I just wanted to give up, to be honest. But we didn't, and we're at this point now where we've got a really good starting point to sand everything down again and get it all shiny. So yeah, if you want to support the channel even more and you're feeling slightly Christmassy, you can buy me a coffee. The link will be in the description. All the money from that would go to the channel. If not, it's fine. Just like, comment and subscribe, and that'd be great. And I will see you in 2025 to carry on with this MG and do all those really exciting things we've got planned for it. I can't wait. I'm sure, well, I hope that you can't either, and I will see you then.